I'm starting to tackle all of that fiber that I blended in my 2 Hackle videos, and that will probably lead to me also doing the fiber from the drum carder video. But here is the finished singles spun from the first Hackle video. It was a dual color that I blended on my Hackle. I showed a little of this done in the second Hackle video if you had watched it. Now you will notice I put a nice big S on it to remind myself that I actually spun this S and not Z or Z as I normally do. So if you're new to spinning, you don't understand what does she mean, Z, Z, or S. If you spin Z or Z for my American friends, you're basically spinning in the right direction. So if you think when you make a Z, it goes right. If you spin your wheel in the opposite direction, it's considered S, or like the way you would make an S going in the left direction. I normally spin all of my singles Z. My only reason for that is consistency. If I have leftovers, then I know that they'll apply properly with all my other leftovers. So, of course, in the beginning, I didn't do this. I was more concentrating on getting the wheel spun. So I wasn't paying attention to which direction I was spinning my singles, and sometimes that led to disaster when I'd actually go to ply. So in this particular case, my e-spinner had been set to S from plying a project previous, and so when I went to spin a sample of this, I didn't notice. Kept it on S, spun it, great. Then I went and put this back on to finish it, didn't look at the bobbin whatsoever, just put it on Z as I normally would do to spin singles, and when I started spinning, the yarn went all over the place. And I panicked for a minute, wondering what is wrong with my e-spinner, what broke on it. Is the tension coming? Everything seemed fine. And then I looked down at the bobbin and I thought, oh no, okay. I started spinning it in the opposite direction. So I'm going to get a close-up of my hands here so you can see what I mean and how you can tell the difference of whether singles have been spun S to the left or ZZ to the right. Okay, so we have 2 bobbins full of fiber here. This is an alpaca, a raw alpaca that I spun on the e-spinner, and this is that S spun singles. This was spun Z or Z, and I've always said that looking at your bobbins is much like toilet paper on the toilet roll. Is it over or under? So if you can see the one here that was spun Z, it goes over. But the one that I spun S, you'll see that the fiber is running under. And that makes sense, right? Because if we're spinning in this direction versus this direction, this would go over and this would go under. So it's like clockwise and counterclockwise. But if ever you're in doubt and you panic because you're like, I don't remember which way I spun this, that would be the way to tell, is to look at your bobbin and is the yarn going under? Then it's S. Or is it going over? Then it's Z or Z. I hope that's helpful. Now back to the regularly scheduled video. So there you have it, how to tell between S or ZZ spun singles. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this. I know I say this a lot in videos, don't I? It's funny, I'm finding these videos are an interesting way to push my creative juices to make decisions. So a lot of times when I'm talking things, I'm more talking out loud to kind of figure out. I love the color of this. It's spun S, so I'd have to spin some more singles also left. Or I could chain ply it, but I just don't think there's going to be enough of it if I chain ply this for my liking. I like to have quite a bit of yarn for a decision for projects. So I may go back to the Hackle and blend some more fiber, similar color to this, and put it all together just out of curiosity what it will look like. We shall see. I think first I want to get into the other fiber that I have from the Hackle blending videos. This one here, completely different color altogether. We'll get this spun and looked at as a single, and then I may move on to do the fiber that I did in the drum carder blending video. There's where my brain is at the moment. Obviously, if you know with me, I change my mind a lot as I get going, so join me if you're curious. not sure if the camera will pick this up. It's very Christmassy. It to me reminds me of one of those artificial Christmas trees and the decorations on it. But again, like I normally say, you can't judge a yarn until it's finished. It'll be interesting to see what I end up plying this with, but there's some bumpy texture from those additions, the silk, the Angora rabbit fiber, etc. And you see these little pieces that are sticking up here. That's the Angelina fiber, and that's why some people say they don't like Angelina for that. You have these little essentially plastic bits sticking up here and there. So something to keep in mind. And once I pair this with something else, it will probably calm that down a little bit. So I have a little bit left to spin. This is what I have left. So 2 of these rovings that I pulled off, and a little bit of the hand-pulled roving, or as I call it, a mini bat. And much like a bat, I've just been ripping pieces off and blending it in there, so it will be less noticeable in the final product. It is, slightly different than a roving, but it needs a little bit more finessing, but it's still a lot of fun to spin. Let's see if I can get this open. So I really enjoy this. There's so much different color and texture, and to see how it changes as you spin it, to me, this is the reason why I spin. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish spinning this fiber, and then I'm going to switch it up and start spinning the textured bats from last month. So stay tuned for that. Okay, in case you missed my video where I was making these bats on my drum carder, or just for a refresher, we're going to take a closer look at all 3 again before I get to spinning them. Bat number 1, just open it up here. My apologies if you hear banging and hammering in the background. My husband is fixing my deck for me off of the studio. So yeah, this side is a lot more blended than this side. Bat number 2. I'm just sizing these up, wondering what they're going to be like to spin. I'm probably just going to either break them in strips or just go completely straight across. I'm not 100% sure yet. Usually with bats, I just like to rip off a chunk and spin. I like the freedom of bat spinning this way. And then the third one, the larger one that I did off camera, Starburst Candy Center, as I like to say. And then the shocking, vibrant 80s workout wear on the other side. So I'm going to take these down to the living room and start spinning them. I am definitely intrigued as to what this is going to look like. So I have the bats ready to go to start spinning, hopefully this evening. I doubt I'll have any time during the day today to get started. I'm really itching to get in there to see what this is going to look like. So the Hackle video fiber is all done. You've seen this one, and now I also have this one. So I have quite a bit of that darker green, Christmassy, Christmas tree color. And my next stage will be to take these to the studio and start digging through my fiber and deciding what I want to ply it with. Obviously, these two things do not go together. I like wild and unusual, but yeah, that's just, no, that's a no for me. So I will have to see what I have, or if I need to dye or even blend something else to go with this. I was thinking that maybe one of these would match like one of the bats, but again, I have to see what this is going to look like once I actually spin it out. And I have a feeling once I get going, it's probably not going to match color-wise, but you never know. So I may end up with 5 different yarns when I'm done, or maybe this will be one applied to something, this will be one applied to something, and the first one will be applied to something else. Decisions, decisions. Okay, ready to see this? Here is all of the color from that bat. Now, when I started to spin this last night, what I did is I took a lengthwise section off and spun it first just to get the feel for it. And I realized that what I would just prefer to do, where this is a smaller bat, is just to take a corner and just go for it and let it do as it pleases. So one thing that I had forgotten, but I appreciate when spinning these chunky bats, albeit I don't usually go quite this wild when I make them, is this fun pop of color all the way through that is unpredictable. So if you like to spin and just like to watch that color kind of meld together as you twist, this is a really good concept. So far the plan, since there isn't like a ton of this, is to just go ahead and continue spinning with bat number 2. This is pretty similar. It all came from the same batch of fiber. And we'll see where we end up, whether or not I just go ahead and then also do bat number 3. And again, I'll have to decide what I want to ply this with, because although I like to do really out-of-the-box stuff for these videos, in the end it still has to be a usable product for me. So probably toning this down a little bit with whatever I ply it with. Anyhow, that's where we're at. I am going to finish with this bat, carry on to the second bat, and I'll be back with an update when I'm done that process. Okay, so I finished spinning those 2 bats and I just put it all on the same bobbin, and this is what it's looking like. I don't know how close I can get for you to see the detail in that. Wow, it's a lot of color, but I must say I am liking it. Right now it's a no-brainer. I'm going to apply this to black unless I change my mind, and I'm not sure if I'll do a 3-ply. I picked this gauge to spin at because I wasn't sure what size I wanted, and I like to go a little thinner because then I have a chance to do more than a 2-ply. I'm really into doing 3-plies these days. It's what I like to knit with. Unless I'm weaving, I do like the 2-plies. But 3-plies are usually what I go for or reach for these days. I love the roundness of it, the fullness. I think it's just because I'm bored with 2-plies. I still make them, as you know, but if I get the chance, I would much rather have 3-plies in my stash. So let me move the camera so you can get a closer look at that larger third bat and how that's looking. Okay, the big reveal here. Ta-da! This one has more orange in it than the other 2. So yes, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do a separate skein for this or ply it to the other ones, but what I've been doing is just spinning this right off the actual bat. And when I did the first run, I went and I took a strip off just so I could get a feel for it. But I just prefer to let this go straight down the bat, or if I decide I can go side by side, I look at it while I'm spinning and decide, okay, I want more pink, I want more orange, I want more blended color, and just doing it all right off of this bat that I made, I find easier to have control that way and to play with the color, which is the whole reason why I do these crazy textured bats. So that's where I'm at, and I'll be back with an update as soon as I can. Okay, so the final bat is completed, and here it is, a lot more orange in this one than the other 2. So I had some choices when I had this finished. It looks approximately the same amount as the first 2 bats that were spun together, and I'm like, well, do I just want to ply them together, maybe ply them together with black to make a third or 3-ply, I should say. And I kind of looked at it and thought, you know, I like this enough and it's fun enough. I'd like to have a fair bit of it to use. So what are my options? Well, there's always, you know, the good old like one one singles black with one singles of the colorful stuff to make a 2-ply. And you know, I'm really into the whole nice round full yarns lately that you get with a 3-ply. I also think we've seen 2-plies done to death, so this is why I try to do a lot of 3-plies. At some point I'll probably go to 4-ply, and then we'll have lots of videos of those examples. But this is what I decided to do. I decided to do 2 plies of the 3-ply in black and 1 of the colorful bat. And I must say, I really like how it's turning out. This type of plying I nickname zebra plying. Usually when I do it, it's usually a thick and thin, like I'll do a really thick black singles and ply it to a thin, very colorful singles. But I thought, let's just try this and do 2 black singles. And it looks really lovely. It makes the color pop, but also makes it very kind of subtle, I guess would be the term that I would use. So I'm going to continue working on that. I actually ran out of one of the black plies for the first one, so I got to spin some more black singles. So it's trapped on my e-spinner, and these are the times where I'm glad that I have more than one spinning wheel, because I can just continue on, spin some more black, and then go back to the e-spinner and finish plying. And I'm intending on doing the same thing with this. So once I get those 2 things done, I will show you the progress. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I love black. I love black in general with yarn. I do a lot of like gray and black fiber dyeing for contrast. I like it better than white. I think it wears well over time as well. And it just really showcases the hand spun yarn and the colors and the fibers. So I'm going to get back to work, and I'll give you an update very soon. Good evening. Just finished plying at that first bunch of bats that we did, the textured bats, bat 1 and bat 2 basically. And unfortunately it's evening. I don't know how well you can see this on the bobbin. Love the color, is vibrant and it has a nice texture. So I am going to get this skeined off, do the second one, and then we will compare them both. Before I take the second skein off the nitty knotty here, let's take a closer look at the texture in this yarn. So we have 2 plies that are black, 1 ply from bat number 3. Lots of fun color in here. And I just am trying to find a textured bit. There's one right there. So you see it kind of bumps out a bit. Here's another one. This one's even more fun. I don't mind this. I like these little nebs and neps that are in the skein. It might bother other people, but when I knit that up, I like that wonkiness and the softness of it. It's one reason why I knit, is I like to see that. I feel like uniform knitting, then you'll want to completely skip the textured portion of blending on a drum carder. All right, I'm going to get these skeins washed and then we'll take a final look. So let me reveal to you these finished textured bat yarns that I made. 2 plies of a black merino singles, 1 with the textured bat. So the first group, so this is the mini bat number 1 and 2. This is what it looks like. So now I'm really loving those electric 80s workwear kind of colors mixed with the black in a nice round yarn. Ironically, both of these, I don't even know if that's the word, coincidentally, probably a better word. Both of these ended up being 86 wraps on my nitty knotty, so approximately 172 yards each. So wow, that was pretty amazing to get them so even. But hello, Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut would like to help me show you this yarn, apparently. You want to come on my lap? So that is yarn number 1. They're both approximately the average because it is textured, so it's going to be a little wonky in areas, but fairly even. It's approximately 10 wraps per inch, so it's in that worsted category. What you doing, buddy? Okay, let's look at the second one. And that is the second one. A little bit more orangey tones in this one. But they definitely match, so I think I should easily be able to use them together in a project. Meow. Like if I put it all together and scrambled it like this, you probably couldn't tell which was which skein. So that's great. Happy with how this turned out, because I'll tell you, those bats were so crazy. I was like, what am I going to do with these? But there is the finished yarn. So this is part one of this. Now it's going to be a two-part series of making using textured fiber for making yarn, because I am nowhere near finished the Hackle Roving. That one was a bit more complicated. I have some interesting things to show you that I blended some more fiber, but this time a smooth blend, so it looks more like the roving that you would buy like from a commercial blended fiber. That turned out really nice, that I'm hoping to use with that yarn. I'm spinning it now, and we'll see if I like the two together. And then I also went and did a dye technique that I call ugly dyeing, that I did for the second fiber from the Hackles. This one here, the darker one. So I'm not even sure once I spin that if it's going to work or match, but it will certainly become a video. It will certainly be something interesting to, or I hope interesting to watch. My whole reason for doing these videos, as you know, is to play with color, maybe do things that you've not thought of, or take risks to do things you don't want to do, because let's face it, our supplies are precious and things are getting really expensive. I have a backlog of supplies, so I can just kind of go and do whatever, and hopefully it helps inspire you to propel you on your journey as a dyer and spinner. Thanks so much for joining me this month. Stay tuned for part 2 next month. Until next time, we will see you later. Bye for now.